up everyone, Draco here. Manchester United versus Arsenal in the Premier League. This is my match preview. We are going to be talking about my lineup, as you can see already. Spoilers, forget spoilers. My score prediction, what I generally think about the match, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference reaction. Before I get started, for those of you who have seen me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter by the way, you will see that I've decided to create, in collaboration with a person called Danny. If you're watching Danny, Dan the man, we are doing a weekly footballing podcast, which will be uploaded on my channel on a weekly basis. We're aiming for Friday, and also if you got Google Play, Spotify, etc., I will be posting, or he will be posting it all there for you to kind of listen on your way to work, or in the shower, or in the toilet, or while sleeping, whatever you guys want to do with it. It was a fantastic show yesterday. We talked about the Manchester United and the Arsenal preview. We went in depth as well, and it was a nice little first podcast that we did. It's about half an hour long, so it's longer than normal that I do on my videos, but they are separate to my actual content. Going forward, we're going to be talking about a lot more footballing related news on it on a weekly podcast. We'll be bringing in guests at the same time. It should be popping up right above me, the playlist, which has episode 1 on it, so do go and check it out. It's called The Gunner and a Devil. So he's an Arsenal fan, I'm a Manchester United fan, and it's going to be a weekly show, so do go and check them out. But going on to looking ahead to the game, it is a big game. Certainly for me, when the fixture list come out, I look forward to the Arsenal games because of the rivalry that I've grew up with in the 20s, you can say early 20s. But this is my predicted formation. Well, this is the formation I would like Ole to go for. I think diamond works, and it works and suits to our strength on the players that we have. The players that we have in the position, it works. A diamond formation works for us. As you can see, I went for pretty much the strongest starting 11. I've added in Tuanzebe instead of Lindelof because I think Maguire will start because he's so good in the air. He's a captain, and I think he will start. However, Lindelof being quite slow and their attack being very pacey with the potential of Aubameyang, Lacazette and Pepe starting, I think it's important that we have a defender with a lot of pace. And that's why I've included Tuanzebe in there. Now, Tuanzebe, obviously he marked out Mbappe and Neymar, the likes of Mbappe and Neymar out of the game. So this should be an easy game for him. Aubameyang, with all due respect, is not on the same level as Mbappe. But this is my back four. In midfield, I went for a diamond formation, as you can see. Don't worry about the numbers, guys. I don't really care about numbers. I opted for Fred. I think Fred has been on fantastic form, and I think he offers something else in terms of the CDM position. I've been saying it for a long time. The traditional CDM position over the last couple of seasons is dying in football. Just like a traditional number 9 is dead, traditional winger is dead. The more like inside forwards or number 9s are expected to do a lot more than just stay up there. And that's what I'm thinking about CDM position. They have to be mobile, they have to have a good passing range, they have to have tenacity, good positioning, and be able to support the attack at the same time as tackle. That's the new traditional CDM. I think that's been popping up, and that's where I think Fred, who's not the best of tacklers, but his other attributes, his energy, his moving up the field, his simplicity, his tenacity, is what I think why he will start in the CDM position, albeit not a traditional CDM, if you know what I mean. Midfield, look, the trio that everybody wants to see, let's face it, we all want to see this trio, and I think that can work. It's Donny van de Beek, Pogba and Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes being the head of the diamond, in my opinion, just behind number 10. But this will allow a lot of creativity. You can have, teams forming like this. You can also have a formation going like this. We've seen that. So there's a lot of variations that you can play with these formations, and we've seen these players play in these formations, and that's why I feel I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to go for that, because it plays to our strength. The players on the field, they're fantastic players. Bruno's been our best player since he's signed. Donny's new, and we can see what the impact he can have. And Pogba, game by game, you can see he's getting better and better. And with our winger situation, especially with Martial being suspended, I don't think we should play the wing position. Obviously Mason Green was there, but I think impact player from the bench will be nice. Up front, I went for Rashford, the man of the hour. Rashford, he's got the hat trick over the weekday, and it is his birthday today, so hopefully he gets a few goals tomorrow. And I went for Cavani. The reason why I went for Cavani because he offers something else up front, right? He can keep the defenders occupied with his presence and physicality and his experience. And you can kind of have Rashford kind of bouncing off Cavani around here, and Bruno going either down there or Donny kind of going down there. Now, the problem we'll have with this formation is the fullbacks, right? So they're going to be expected to push up for the width. You know, there won't be any wingers in my formation, which means that there is a huge gap here for the likes of Aubameyang and Pepe, potentially if they're starting to exploit. However, that's where Pogba and Donny kind of becomes a lot more important in that formation. So in attack, it could be the case of them hanging around here. Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka going up there, and Donny kind of hanging around here, and Bruno obviously supporting the two strikers. That is a lot of good variations for me. Fred can kind of cover these positions as well and hold this sort of midfield area. In transition in defense, obviously they will go down and we shape up here. But it's just that for those of you that play Football Manager, Mezzala position, that's what they do. That's what they operate around here. They're not wingers or inside forwards. They kind of go in midfield and operate around here. That's what I think Pogba and Bruno can do, is operate these positions, these sort of diagonal vertical positions up here. But that's my predicted formation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Let me know your predicted formation. Do you agree with that? Do you feel that we will go for 5 in the back or 4-2-3-1, etc., etc.? Looking at the Premier League table, you can see how much of an important game it is for both the clubs. You can see, yes, we're early stages, but the form that we're not in the best of form. You can see Arsenal have lost 3 out of the first 5 in the Premier League, and we have only won twice in the first 5. And our home record is actually a disaster. It is such an important game, early stage for us. The only reason I say this is because a win here can sort of kickstart Manchester United, our season. And a win to Arsenal can kickstart their season. It's a long season, it's a grueling season. And we go to the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference as well. But that's the table as it looks. If we win, we go above them. If they win, they kind of create a bit of a gap. And you know, I hope that the form that we have in the Champions League can be transferred over to the Premier League. Obviously, the last time, this is some of the stats, the last time we played Arsenal, we have lost 2-0 in January 2020. I was actually talking about that in the podcast as well. In the Premier League, Manchester United haven't beaten Arsenal in 1, 2, 3 in the last 4 games. Manchester United have not beaten Arsenal. In fact, the last win against Arsenal in the Premier League came in 2018, over 2 years ago, you can say. And also in the FA Cup, obviously we beat them 3-1 in the FA Cup. But it just shows that the game is not a walk in the park for Manchester United. You know, it will be a struggle. It will be a problem. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So he's come out and talked about, obviously, the 5-man substitution that has worked well in the Champions League, and why the Premier League clubs have vetoed to not have a 5-man substitution, just like in the Champions League, due to the fixture congestion. And he talked about him coming out and there's a lot of injuries across a lot of clubs, and that's how it goes. He also say in terms of the game, he said, at the moment we are looking like a Manchester United squad. I have got opportunities, competition for places. Any successful team in the modern era of football has had that option to rest players and rotate. That is probably the only way you can last in this most intense league in the world, also being involved in the Champions League, and you want to go for trophies. He went on to respond against the brutal 6-1 defeat against Tottenham. He said, we've tweaked a couple of things, got players fit, and I think the manner of defeat wasn't something we should ever have to be confronted with again. Then again, things happen in football these days, and the response has been fantastic, and that's what I'm concerned about, because we want to finish that off as soon as we could and move forward. So he also gone on to say about Arsenal, I think football has developed, and as so many clubs have developed strength in depth and ability to challenge for the trophies. Even though the last 2 seasons you had 2 teams, City and Liverpool, running away with it, I think this season a lot of us are just underneath them. We'll hope to put up a challenge. Back then it was us or Arsenal, and then Chelsea came through. Now it's more exciting for me and the fans that it's not one of these 2. Anything can happen in this season with what's happening around the world, and we're just taking one game at a time. So In regards to the Spurs defeat, since we lost against Spurs, we haven't conceded a goal apart from an own goal with the goals from Luke Shaw and Marshall, which shows fantastic unity in terms of our defensive display. Clearly, we have worked on that. Also, as the games go by, you can see that Manchester United are getting in line with the fitness level. The tactics has been fantastic from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Some of the lineup is a bit off, the personnel, but I'm starting to trust Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a little bit more because he is changing formation and tactics and substitutions midway through the game, which is so refreshing to see. He also went on to obviously talk about how brutal it is and clubs require good squad depth. I believe we do have that in some aspects. I think one or two position is needed, but generally speaking, our bench options are really, really strong. You look at the RB Leipzig game, we had Rashford, Cavani, and McTominay on the bench, and Bruno Fernandes on the bench, which shows our strength in depth. And that's fantastic to see. But that's my reaction on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. Obviously, he's talked about the subs. I think his positive outlook. He didn't give away anything in terms of what Manchester United are going to do to Arsenal or whatever happens. But generally speaking, I just mentioned that in my podcast and I keep mentioning it. Go and check it out. I do believe it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be a 1-1 game. I think both teams will be very cautious of the defeat, because a defeat in tomorrow's game will be alarm bells in the Premier League for them, 100%. The way that both teams have started has not had the best of starts, so they'll be avoiding defeat. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I hope it's a United win. I want a United to win with all the banters and etc, etc. But I think, realistically speaking, for me personally, it's going to be a 1-1 draw. But let me know your thoughts in the score prediction as well. Do let me know what you guys think, what the score prediction will be. Other than that, as always, guys, I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's match review. This was the match preview. And stay farafari.